Birgitte, we are in episode, I think, 19 for Wing Sisters. And we have a Wing Sisters Facebook group for those of you who don't know. I'm Birgitte Young, also go by B. And with me today, I have Sensi Graves, right? And we actually just met today. A friend recommended that I talk to her and interview her, and as she told me a little bit more about herself, I thought, I understand why. I want to meet this woman. So, so Sensi, who are you besides winging? Because I know you've been doing that. So,
Yes, I'll have to modify a little bit because as we spoke about, I owned a swimwear company for the last 13 years and just shut it down at the end of 2024. And so my intro of who I am now needs to shift. But I competed in kiteboarding for the past decade,
wow.
traveling around the world for 10 years, competing in park riding, picked up winging 5 years ago when it first came out. But while I was traveling around the world, was running my swimwear company Sensi Swim. And then over the last couple of years have also transitioned into motivational speaking and mentoring women on confidence and mindset. And then I also put on women's kite and wing camps and retreats. So a whole amalgamation of things. I'm no longer the founder of a swimwear company, but that still very much defines me. And today I'm most passionate about empowering women in water sports.
That's awesome. You're the person I want to talk to. So that's one of the reasons actually I started Wing Sisters. It was first I was thinking, wow, I think I only know of two other people in the Bay Area that wing that are women. And and I thought, women I think inherently are better at, like, we tend to focus more on um not just the technical skills are on of winging, but the what can we do to help someone else come along? And I think we're really good at that. Maybe not everyone's the same, of course, but I think it's something that we can leverage on. And also, there's there's a lot of women that maybe need a little bit of extra, how do you say, encouragement to come alongside them and get them into the sport. It's 90%, I think, guys probably in the sport for a reason. And it's not that women can't wing, for sure. you know so there's so I'm glad we're doing this. So how did you first learn about wing foiling?
The first time I saw it was at AWSI, which is a big industry association trade show that happens in Hood River for all water sports. So kiting, winging, windsurfing, and actually supping as well. And it was like the first year that brands had wings and they were displaying them at this trade show. And I was like, what is happening? What is this? This looks so stupid. I tried a few tags on the wing and was like, oh my gosh, what is this sport? This is so ridiculous. Fast forward about 6 months later, and my husband, who's also in the water sports industry, started to learn to wing, and he was really getting into it. And I was like, okay, well, I gotta hop on the bandwagon now then as well. And so after seeing it for the first time 6 months before and thinking it was really stupid and ridiculous, the next spring got in the water and was starting to wing and then was like, oh my gosh, this is actually really fun. I love it. And it's totally taken over since then. I live in Hood River, Oregon, which is one of the premier places to wing foil, I think, in the world. I mean, we have epic conditions and tons of really good swell to ride. And that's, for me, the most fun part about winging. And so now I'm very much more a winger than a kiter, I would say, or spend a lot more time doing that anyway.
Yeah, I did a little bit of windsurfing before.
Hmm.
So when I started winging, I was thinking to myself, "Am I a traitor?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"No, that's not how it works."
No, it's not. It's not. It's an inclusive sport. And I think it's just
Right.
about progression. I mean, as I mentioned, I competed in kiting for a long time. And with winging, it just opened up a new realm of opportunity to be on the water and a new challenge. And that has kept me really engaged with water sports. And I think is one of the best ways to stay in flow is to have something new for our brains to focus on, something new to learn, something new to keep us engaged. And that to me has really been one of my favorite parts about winging.
That's awesome. That's how I feel too. It's just so fascinating to be in the middle of something new,
Mm.
and it is really good for our brain,
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
to yeah, that whole aspect I love. So, what are some of your favorite wing spots? You mentioned Hood River, but right now, tell us where you are.
Yeah, I'm down in La Ventana, Mexico, which is on the Baja Peninsula down at the very southern end. And it is phenomenal winging here as well. It's windy super consistently. Good swell. As I mentioned, I love riding swell winging. That's my favorite part about it. And so it's this place, and then I'll say Kanaha on Maui, also prime winging, little breaking waves, can be some bigger waves on the outside, but an easy, I think, accessible way for people to start learning to ride waves is Kanaha. And those are my three favorite places.
Yeah, those are good. Those are good ones.
Mhm.
And the
Very
funny
lucky.
thing, I haven't winged any of those places yet.
What?
I know. Just for various reasons,
Yeah,
I've tried, but it's a long story. So, it's definitely on my bucket list, and all the three places. And yeah, it's good to have something to look forward to, though.
exactly. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
So, how does making being on the water make you feel,
Mm.
or winging, let's say?
Yeah. In flow,
Yeah.
I find that riding down swell and feeling those bottomless turns keeps me really in flow and keeps me really in the present state. I think a lot of times it can be easy to think about a lot of things on the water when you're not not really engaged. Obviously, you're just like brain can be distracted. What am I going to have for lunch? I need to do this thing. What's my to-do list?
Yeah.
And as we talked about with something new and engaging, you're more focused on the present moment. And so I really feel when I'm in those moments, really in flow. And I just really feel that in my body a lot, like turning kind of bottomless powder turns in a sense. It's just such a fun, beautiful, free feeling that it's really like a moving meditation.
Right. Yeah. It's wonderful. What's your consistency level, would you say, for getting on the water?
Oh, well,
Or what
depends on
might
the
be
time of
getting in the
year.
way?
Yeah. Well, I have a 6-month-old baby.
Oh
So
my
I,
gosh, really? I can't believe you're on
yes,
here with me. I have
yes.
three
Well,
kids, and
I'll
even
show them
though
at the
they're
end.
grown, trust me, I remember.
But I was winging up until I don't know, like 7 months pregnant. So I like to joke that my son has
My
more time
gosh,
on
that's
oil than
awesome.
most humans. Yeah. And then I started winging. This wasn't even a goal. I wasn't trying to push myself at all, but I actually got back on the water about 5 months after or 5 months, 5 weeks after giving birth. And so I felt really strong and great. And I think winging, although it's really hard to learn, I don't want to minimize that it does take a lot of effort. Once you get it, it can feel really freeing and relaxing in a sense. And so um, after giving birth, got back on the water relatively quickly. But to be honest, the consistency in Hood River was not great because we had a new baby and it was kind of hard to make happen. And it takes a lot of energy and effort to get out there with a new baby. But now that we're down in Mexico and he's 6 months old, my husband and I have been trading off. And so we've been going every day.
Wow, that's
I
that's
know,
awesome.
lucky.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I had a couple of more questions I wanted to ask you, but I really want to know more about this baby stuff, because I think it's the first time we interview someone with one that's that little.
Yeah.
And I remember how busy it was, and I think I think it's great you guys are both into water sports because that really, really helps.
Yeah.
But you were in the water 5 weeks after the baby was born.
Yeah, and I don't want to like say that to brag or anything, B, because I
No.
think no, I mean, I just like I think there's a lot of comparison with women after giving birth, and you see
Yes.
people doing things, and you're like, oh my gosh, that woman ran a marathon
Yes.
5 weeks after giving birth. I should, or I feel bad about myself. So
Yeah.
I don't want to say that anyone should aim for that, and that's why I was prefacing with like it wasn't a goal or anything of mine to get back on the water,
Yeah.
but I just felt good, and I think that's one of the things that makes winging really accessible is that once you get it, it can be really relaxing and
Yeah.
not that challenging on the body if you're in good conditions and you have good gear. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I got back on the water pretty quickly.
Yeah. And I think the nice thing is once you learn it, you can pick conditions that are a little bit easier. You don't have to go out in the most
Exactly.
extreme conditions.
Yeah.
Maybe like I had a herniated disc one year and I also had a car accident last summer. So I
Oh,
went back on a little bit bigger board because I knew
yeah.
my core strength wasn't the same and I didn't want and I wanted to feel more um like you kind of know what you feel like you the challenge that your body is ready for and you
Yeah.
want to start at a place that's going to be good for you, right?
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
um
Yeah. Going on a bigger board. Perfect. That's exactly what I did.
yeah.
I tried with my husband's 120 liter board the first session. And I will say the first session was horrible. I was like, I'm all over the place and could barely get back on the board. But your body knows what to do.
Yes, exactly. So, what are so your if you had a magic wand, and how would your day look like? Like, what would
Mm,
you more of, less of?
yeah. I love that question. I mean, my day would definitely include getting on the water. I think having a slow morning with my husband and baby, having coffee in bed, um,
Mhm.
using my brain as well. I really love mentoring, and I do a lot of that in my business, mentoring on confidence and mindset, and that just it feels super rewarding. I don't know if you've ever heard the term ikigai.
No,
It's,
tell us about that.
it's a Japanese term, which is the Venn diagram where four things meet, which is what you're good at, what you love to do, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for. What
Uh,
you're good at, what you love to do, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for. And that intersection of where those four things meet is your ikigai or similar to your life's purpose. So if things that like really light you up and that you feel driven about and you feel engaged in the world with and that really are rewarding. Um, I feel like speaking and mentoring is part of my ikigai and I feel really rewarding while doing it. So I want to put that into my dream life because, and I am doing that already, but because it feels good to have a purpose and it feels good to be helping other people.
yeah.
Um, and then I would say quality time with friends, having that connection. We know community is one of the biggest factors in mental health and eating good food. And I'm happy to say, B, that I'm doing a lot of those things now. So my magic wand is working, I think.
That's awesome. Yeah, I read a book on that topic, and if I remember the title, I'll put it in the comments or something. But it's about um, the fact that what we get done in life is not as dependent on our time management as our energy management. And
Yes.
I think we're
Yeah.
hardwired to to have certain gifts, and when we give those to the world, it makes us feel good.
Yeah.
And you're in the space where you, like you said, have those four things intersect.
Mm.
You can be used in a good way, in a
Yeah.
good sense of the word, and someone else will benefit, and it's a great place to be. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
I feel really blessed to have work that I feel passionate about.
that's awesome. So, how much time would you spend on the water, like in a perfect world, and where?
Oh, wow.
Like
Okay, well,
let's
I'm
say
gonna
the Hood
say,
River could be the weather could be nice all the time. Like this isn't weather dependent. This is like a hypothetical question.
yeah, I think it's about balance. I
Yeah.
mean, I would love to continue traveling. I think this goes back to the magic wand question and build community and session all over the world. I think being in new experiences just brings you into the present moment more and it gives you awe. Like when you see someplace new or you're winging someplace new, it's just like, wow, I get to be here. That's amazing. So I
Yeah.
don't want to quantify really with time because back to energy levels, I think it really depends on how you feel.
Yeah.
I don't need to be winging 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
But being engaged with where I am, being in present moment, experiencing the community building aspect of it, I think those are the most important things.
Yeah.
But I will say that Namotu is another one of my favorite places to wing. And so I would spend a lot of
Where
time there.
where now?
Namotu, Fiji. There,
Fiji?
yeah, Fiji.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I forgot
Yeah, but
about that.
I didn't realize that. Wow. So many
Yeah,
places to go now.
I know. Endless. Yeah.
What are some of your favorite takeaways from being part of the water sport community?
Ooh, great question. How much of a community it is. I believe anywhere you go in the world, when you meet someone that is a winger or a kiter, they're just often as stoked as you are and welcoming and open. I think because it is a hard sport to learn, there is this little bit of a barrier to entry so that the people that get into water sports and wind sports are generally really cool. And so building that connection with them, no matter where you are in the world, I think is one of the most special things. It's like, oh, you're a winger. Okay, cool. Yeah, me too. And you have this bond over it. So I think that's just really one of my favorite things is just we have this really solid, strong community and it's ever growing.
Yeah, I love that.
B, can you
Um,
hear the baby in the background?
no, but
Oh, you
of
get?
course, we'd all love to see
Can we
him.
bring him over?
Yes, please.
I'll
So,
do.
in learning this sport, do you feel like it may have helped you in other areas of your life, and if so, how?
Ooh, great question. I think it builds resilience. I think learning to wing is hard. And anyone
Yeah,
out there that was learning to wing, give yourself a lot of grace because even though it's a lot less intimidating than another wind sport, say kiting, it is still difficult to learn. It's a whole new body awareness skill set. So resilience and just more being in touch with my body. I think every sport that we learn, that's something new. You're building new neural pathways in the brain and
right,
stretching yourself and growing, and that naturally builds more resilience and more brain cells. And so it's
right.
growth.
Yeah, so maybe in the dry kind of in the dry season where it's not as much. Oh, wow. He is so cute. Tell us his name,
This is Flint,
Flint.
Flint, Flint.
He looks like a very much a thriving baby. He kind of
Yes.
reminds me of the size of my son. 6 months, that's
Yeah,
it?
yeah, he's a big guy.
Yes. Wow. So
I
awesome.
know.
All the good food you're eating and
We feel
the
so
way you
blessed.
guys are living, it's it's a success.
Yeah, it's a success. We feel super blessed.
Yes, that's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time here. And I wanted to add here in the at the end that if you watch this video and you're not already in a Wing Sisters group, please look for it on Facebook. It's Wing Sisters in 2 words, and we're an international group of women wingers, and we'd love to have you join us. We're also thinking about doing a little camp for benefiting the clean water community in the springtime, and it may just be like a couple of months after this one comes out. So let us know if you're not on foil yet. That's a good place to be joining. It's not really as much of instructional as it is going to be community, and we can fit a few people in. So let us know early if that's one of your the things that sounds good to you. All right.